So you might think you're ugly, or maybe you think you're nothing. Maybe you think you're better off dead. Who is making you think these things? Regardless of what thoughts you have, God values you. You are here for a purpose. The evil thoughts are not coming from God. The purpose is to trick you into believing that you are worthless. Find your God-given purpose. Do God's will. And no matter what is in your past, remember that God will forgive you and wash you clean. The Looking Glass. A young girl, barely 12, took a looking glass in her hands. 100 pounds she could only be. However, the looking glass uttered, obese. Tears fell down the young girl's face. Her mind began to race with all the things she had to do to make the words untrue. She hoarded food in secret, hiding the hurt in jars. The looking glass laughed, thinner it screamed, as pound after pounds fell off her bones. The looking glass begged for her to lose more. Weight dropped off day after day. The young girl's life slipped painfully away. Her family wept with deep sorrow. No one knew the lies the looking glass had led the child to believe. Therefore, it sat anxiously, awaiting its next soul. A powerful object filled with threat, a wicked charm that feeds on regret. An older woman brought the antique mirror. What a treasure, a great find indeed. She looked at the mirror in failure, it screamed. Her only child was on drugs. She saw her life pass quickly by. Her dreams never caught a regretful cry. Yes, I'm a failure, she believed. Poor woman didn't put up much of a fight. Instead, she reached for a bottle of sleeping pills. The looking glass made her forget her will. She died in her sleep, such a tragic, senseless death. The looking glass just smiled, pleased with itself. Another trophy for the shelf. The looking glass came upon a man who looked with just a quick glance. He stopped, frozen in his tracks. A big lump formed in the back of his throat. Yuck, you have AIDS, the looking glass screamed. The man confirmed what doctors and believed. The man took a gun, the quick and easy way out. He stuck that gun into his mouth. The looking glass said, do it, there's no cure. The man fell dead with a thump to the floor. HIV was a sentence he couldn't endure. Time passed by and days went on. The looking glass found itself in a young, attractive girl's arms. The looking glass had to dig deep to find the haunting memory. Something awful in her past. Murderer is what the mirror screamed. Tears began to run down her cheeks. Her unborn baby haunted her soul. But how did the mirror know? Abortion, you killed your own child. It's not fair that you're still alive. The allegations the woman tried to ignore, but she too gave into the mirror lies and put a noose around her neck. An eye for an eye, the mirror proclaimed. With those words, she jumped to her death. Her neck snapped and her legs danced their last jig. Poor misled woman, this is not God's will. By happenstance, the mirror found itself into the hand of a child who gazed into the mirror for quite a long while. Liar, the child said before the mirror could even mutter. This made the mirror mad and it started to scream. How do you know my name, you fiend? The child didn't say a word as the mirror changed into its true form. A wicked serpent, a very long lip, whose tongue slithers out like death's own whip. The child knew the story of Adam and Eve and how the serpent lives to deceive. Tricks and foolery made Eve forget that she too was above the serpent tricks. Who told you that you was naked? God has asked Eve. The serpent made me forget who I was, Eve replied. She too was taken by surprise. The serpent in fury struck the heel of this child. The child jumped up and cried for a while. His tears dried up and he could clearly see that serpent lay dead beneath his feet. For all the trouble the serpent caused, in his true form he can only bruise this heel of the child. The next time you look in a mirror and you see something that shouldn't be, make sure that it's not the serpent with his bags of foolery. Be strong and be not deceived. Who tells you you're fat, you're nothing, that you're riddled with disease? It is not of God that you hear these things. At your worst, God forgives us all. All you have to do is believe. In today's time, you are a woman who balances so much. Relationships, family, bills, health, and work. You are indeed a goddess. Unfortunately, you probably would encounter something in your life that would make you forget who you truly are. If you haven't yet, you probably will. I wrote this book, Poetry for a Goddess, words of inspiration for the new millennium woman, to help us through all this time and all this trouble of the chaos and struggles of everyday life. This book can be found on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble. You can check it out also at my website, RaicyndaVelyn.com.